Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0. We had to get the job done. It was tight. I did say we wouldn't win by more than 1 goal. But I also predicted Ollie Watkins would score. Listen, a professional performance, man. A professional performance. And one that, you know, does a real good job of helping us move a step closer to Champions League qualification, man. Going into that Brighton game, 3 points was a must here in any way, shape or form. And actually, excuse me, I think we played really well in the first half. Chances galore. Couldn't get the second goal across the whole game, but especially in the first half. And we played with an element of control, you know? And I think a big part of that was what we did at the back. Luke Shaw, am I going to say he's better than Martinez? There's nothing, I'm going to say this, there's nothing Martinez can do that Luke Shaw can't do. And you might think, oh, it's reactionary flexor. Now, and I'm not disrespecting Martinez. Martinez has been unbelievable, probably player of the season. But when he, that moment against Seville, when he went off and his season was over, I thought it as well. I thought, oh my God, our season's over here. And if I'm being honest, if I'm looking for a drop-off from Luke Shaw of him coming in, there isn't one. There isn't one. He's playing exactly the same as Martinez. He's strong and robust in the tackle. If anything, I feel more calmer with Luke Shaw there. And again, people, when you do things like this, people sometimes think, oh, you don't understand what Martinez is up. No, I understand exactly what Martinez has done and why he's so important for this team and how unbelievable he's been. But when I'm watching Luke Shaw in person in the stadiums, I'm looking at it like any ball that goes down the side, anyone who tries to engage with him, any ball that comes short and he comes out of defence, I'm like, he ain't going to get spun. You're not going to get past him. You're not going to beat him in the air. And actually, the bit that Martinez probably does excel in is obviously the ball between the lines and with the ball at his feet. Luke Shaw's showing he's perfectly capable of that as well. Really intelligent, stepping into midfield where he needs to. Distribution out to the fullback, to Malacia. A lot of times Malacia's inverting and almost leaving Luke Shaw as the left back, which is obviously a tactic that we use. But Luke Shaw deserves massive, massive credit. He's coming in and it's like there's no drop-off. And Victor Lindelof, the same. I love the ghost of Rafe the Phantom. I love Varane. I love him. He's my guy. Lindelof's playing just like him. He is in these last couple of games. And look, I know Spurs, we conceded 2 stupid goals, but Lindelof and Shaw were absolutely fine. You know, and they have been. They were brilliant against Brighton as well. So those 2 guys deserve massive, massive credit. Luke Shaw's been here such a long time. Obviously, new deal, etc. incoming. Where has he signed it? I can't remember. Did he sign this new deal? I can't remember, but he's staying. Yeah, I think he did sign his new deal. But he's been here such a long time, and you know, always question marks on when's he going to arrive and stuff like that. Now I just think Luke Shaw is in his prime. Luke Shaw is in his prime. He's unbelievable. He said to Eric Ten Hag, no problem. I'll slot into centre half, not an issue, and I can play the way you want me to as well. And actually, Lindelof and Shaw, they actually really complement each other. They're very, very calm individuals. Luke Shaw never gets over-animated. He never gets over-excited. He never gets over-triggered. He's not over-aggressive, but he's aggressive enough to step in and engage, but you can't take the piss out of him. Lindelof, you know, something we used to label at Lindelof. You know, I remember Troy Deeney coming here with Watford and roughing him up. You know what I mean? Roughing him up. Attackers used to say, listen, we can play off that Lindelof. He's a little bit soft. You know, you can get some change out of him. Maybe don't go near Bailly or don't go near Rojo or whatever it is. But, you know, Lindelof, you can get some change out of. Now you can't. Ollie Watkins has been fantastic this season, especially since the World Cup. Couldn't get a sniff. Lindelof was on him the whole time, and he's been unbelievable. And, you know, his willingness to engage, his willingness to be aggressive and go in on attackers to make sure they can't turn him, and actually getting his head on everything. Unreal. So I had to really give those 2 their props. And fullbacks, Malacia, I was worried about him going into this game. I was thinking, you know what, Malacia? He's had a couple of shaky times. You're not really sure how he's going to be after having a few shaky moments. Now, look, John McGinn is not your thoroughbred right winger, obviously a left footer playing on the right wing and a central midfielder by trade. He ain't going to take Malacia down the outside. What he will do is work hard, he'll be strong, and he's a willing run. He's got good engine, John McGinn. And Malacia was up to the task. He said no problem. And he had a tackle, I think, on Ashley Young. When Ashley Young he wasn't clean through, but he was in down the side. And he matched him, opened out his lungs, clattered into him as well, and got a huge standing ovation off the fans in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. And actually, it was a really settling performance from him. Dalot was fantastic as well, really good on the ball, seasoned defensive opportunities, understanding how to intercept, you know, good going forward as well, linking up. I thought he was fantastic. So I had to big up that whole back four. And Casemiro, that's much more like it from him. Still not his sparkling best, but much more like it. In the first half, what I really liked was how quickly we won the ball off Aston Villa. We were going high, we were pressing, and we were creating a lot of dangerous moments and dangerous chances. Marcus Rashford clean through. I don't think he was offside. I think he was just onside. Should have scored. Casemiro hits the bar. A lot of chances when we're in and around their box. Rashford through with his left foot forces a good save from Martinez. So look, we were on them, and you kind of thought, oh, do not be a game whereby we struggle to get the goal. So to score just before half time was really good, and I love the way Bruno went over to those Aston Villa fans. So for him to get the goal, yeah, he got a bit fortunate, but you know, Marcus Rashford actually has quite a weak shot there with Martinez, but it's a cross goal, and you force the keeper to palm it out. Whenever if you're going to shoot from a tight angle, shoot a cross goal. So Marcus Rashford done the basics there. It mightn't have been the best shot, it might have been a bit tame, but the fact that it made Martinez have to reach for it, that's how it gets palmed into Bruno Fernandes's path, and obviously he slots it away. But it's great to see him go over to those Villa fans who were giving him a bit of stick. He just shut them up. He just went over to them and just smiled. And actually, you know what? This is a really dangerous side, Aston Villa, full of confidence. Could I say I expected better from them in the first half? I did, but actually it's testament to us because we made them look average. We made them look like they weren't full of confidence in that first half. Now, second half again, I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but it was evident. Again, we're just never quite the same in second halves as we are in the first half. Obviously, we saw it against Spurs where we capitulated and scored 2 goals. You could feel that coming. Who, by the way, I literally said it. Spurs would go back to being shit. They'll get done by Liverpool. And at the time of recording this, they're 3-0 down. And that's what really annoyed me about the Spurs game. Given that crap team confidence when you know they're just going to go back to being what they really are, which is a poor team. So they're back to business. So they're out of it. They've been smashed by them. But like you said, Liverpool growing in confidence. You knew that they were going to win today, and they're growing in confidence, which is why we had to win. And obviously Brighton winning 6-0 yesterday, going into that game, we had to make sure we win. But yeah, second half, we always seem to drop off somehow and we just don't quite have the end, you know, the finish, the icing on the cake, as they call it. But we defended really well, and the fact that we defended really well helped us today because, you know, a clean sheet, we was aggressive, and we got the result that we deserved, which was to win. I think we deserved to win that game. I like the tactics as well. Villa were playing such a high line, and I think Rashi, although we didn't have his radar on him today in terms of composing himself to score chances, the willingness for him to run in behind Ezri Konsa and Tyrone Mings was what kept that Villa back four on their toes, and I can see why he waited. Erik ten Hag waited so long to bring on Martial, because Martial didn't start against Spurs. He easily could have started today, but the threat in behind, and then actually not just Rashford being there, to actually have the tactics in terms of saying, right, what we're going to do is in transitions, get the ball into Eriksen, get the ball into Casemiro, and when they can on the half turn, knock it round the corners, get them turned, and that worked a treat. You know, Bruno being out on the right hand side, he was a willing runner as well. I thought Anthony probably should have come on the right hand side and put Bruno to the left, but it didn't matter in the end. I think we saw it out really well. So listen, a massive 3 points, huge 3 points. I think as long as we don't get beat by Brighton, and look, even if we did, worst case scenario, I think we'd still be all right. But that's a tough game. One that, you know what, on paper I wouldn't back us to win it. Well, actually, on paper I would. In theory, I wouldn't back us to beat Brighton, because you know what we're like away from home in a tough game. So, look, as long as I think we can get a draw, if we get a draw against Brighton, which is a tough away day, then we'll be all right and make sure we win these home games. So, yeah, smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Man of the match, I'm going to give it to Lindelof. I want to give it to Shaw. I'm going to give it to Shaw. Honestly, there's no drop-off on Martinez. I'm even... He's playing so well, and I know maybe it's a little bit of recency bias because I'm just excited of how well he's playing, and I'm so happy for him. I'm like, is he better than Martinez? Like, or at least the same. At least the same. There's definitely no drop off there. Let me know what you guys think. Smash the like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you soon. Peace.